Hi, this is Russ. I'm the DC guy here with comicbook.com, and I'm speaking with the creative geniuses behind one of DC's best-selling books, Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti from Harley Quinn. I guess the big thing this weekend is Lobo. When you already have a book that tends towards the extreme and the bizarre, is Lobo just kind of a really natural addition?
It sure felt like it. We didn't come up with the idea until we were at a convention and we just saw Simon Bisley sitting there. And Jimmy and I looked at each other at the same time and we were like, aha.
His beautiful, innocent face. If you never met Simon, he's sort of like Lobo in a way.
He is Lobo.
And we were trying to find what to do with the Harley's Little Black Book 6, a team up that would be worthy of going out, in a ball of flame. And we just said, Lobo, but can we do classic Lobo, not the New 52 one? And we emailed Dan DiDio right away, and he said, sure, why not? Which is always the greatest answer to get. And so we signed up Simon, and yeah, it's 38 pages of Simon Bisley art. It's Harley finds herself in outer space with a bunch of bounties, and Lobo sort of messes things up. Actually, Harley messes things up, and they wind up on a deserted planet together. And we do our version of Naked and Afraid.
Except we call it Naked and Belligerent.
Naked and Belligerent, right? And it's Harley and Lobo having to deal with each other and find food and make fire, and it's probably something you've never seen before, and it's a lot of fun.
You have to read it to find out which one messes things up more.
Yeah, I think you can guess.
I think one of the things that's really interesting is that a lot of the time I would think the Suicide Squad movie would come out and the narrative would be like, holy crap, it brought all this attention to this character. But you guys have been killing it with this character, like not just creatively. You guys are pretty familiar with doing critically acclaimed things that don't necessarily sell 150,000 copies.
Sure, it's a Jonah Hex. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead.
But with Harley, it's like this book has been firing on all cylinders from the word go. Have you seen kind of a different response, or is there any changes since Suicide Squad?
Oh, well, this is one of the times where, you do something and then you look at the film and say, oh, yeah, look, they kind of got that right and they kind of did this thing, and we definitely, for the Reborn, obviously the first one sold insane.
You mean Rebirth?
Rebirth. Did I say Reborn? Rebirth, Reborn. As Marvel.com is having a field day with that one. It's a Regirth. Let's go for Regirth. It's right there, Regirth. But, yeah, it's what we're doing with Lobo.
Regurge.
Anyway, yeah, it definitely brought in an audience that may have not been familiar with the character, but liked the movie and is trying to book. At the same time, it's anything that makes the bigger audience aware of the character. It's funny because somebody said, oh, this year, you realize Harley's going to be a huge costume? And I said, last year before the movie, it was the #1 costume in the United States before Suicide Squad. And I said, so I get what you're saying now, but at the same time, I'm like, it's been like that for the past couple of years. So I'm just happy, my neighbors now know what we do in a way. And a local bar, they definitely know. We've been getting under the radar for a while. We got off pretty good, but now they know, oh, you're Harley Quinn. Like, grandmas know who Harley Quinn is, so that's kind of wild. And we like grandmas.
We love grandmas.
Yes. And I'm going to leave it there.
So you're going to do like the Picasso thing where you just, oh man, I don't have my wallet. I could draw something for you at the bar.
We should try that.
We should try it. They take good care of us, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. We love our local.
Yeah, we do have strangers though buying us drinks once in a while, which is nice. But it's celebrity, meaning nobody really cares outside of a convention or your local pub. Everyone else just, you're another guy in the way, so we don't let it get to our head.
Yeah.
Now, one of the great things I think about this book is sending her to space and doing a Lobo story feels just kind of like another thing. Like, sometimes you get books where you escalate and escalate and escalate, and the question is, like, how the hell do you top that? With this book, it almost kind of feels like, yeah, you don't have to worry about topping it because like the structure of the book is such that you're going to do something else crazy next time. Does that take a little bit of the pressure off?
Well, yeah, you have to nuance it, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say you have to ground the stories. So
Yeah. And there's really nothing that you can't do with Harley, and you know she almost writes herself, so you can just keep going.
because then they won't pay us anymore. They'll find another person to do the book. Don't ever say that.
Anyway,
Difficult book to write. No one else should try it. Is that?
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
she's always fun, and no matter what crazy thing happens in your life, you can always apply it to Harley. You know, it's like, oh, what happened today in the news? That's horrible. Let's put it in Harley. You know, so that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, I mean, as ridiculous as it can get, we try to ground it at the same time. Because if you get too much, then people don't care about it. That's what you learn about comic books. You have to have this level where it comes back to earth once in a while.
One of the things that really strikes me about, especially Rebirth Harley, but in general your run, is very much like what I told Peter Tomasi about Superman. Like, it's much more character-driven than a lot of comics on the stands right now. A lot of comics on the stands right now are so event-driven. You're jumping from big story to big story to big story. Harley, you guys have done a really good job of keeping people engaged while making it really mostly about her. Is that an uphill battle, or is that literally just your default setting?
That's always been our favorite thing, is just to make the characters really, really interesting. So if you have a small story or a big story, it's always going to be interesting because you want to find out what happens with the character. So
Yeah, we have a whole issue where Harley and Ivy go to the Bahamas together for a vacation, and it's 20 pages of them doing nothing.
but we still like it to be very interesting.
But they're not really doing nothing. But it's a small story, right? But I say that to you, and you're like, well, maybe I have to read that. Oh, and they're in a nudist colony too, by the way. Okay, but anyway.
Make it a little more interesting.
But I say that, and you're saying, well, yeah, it's not aliens from another planet. It's not this giant storyline. But because the character's interesting, you want to see. And same thing with Lobo in a way. You know, it's great to have all these big moments, but you want to read when they're talking to each other, when they speak to each other. You want to hear their conversation. And the best characters are written that way. They're conversations, they're soap operas. It's about emotional struggles, and it's great to do these giant crossovers where worlds collide and all that. But at the end of the day, if you're not interested in the character, then you lose the reader. So we've always kind of kept the small moments and the big moments pretty much the same. The camera's always on Harley in our book. It doesn't wander off too much, and that's important to do.
Well, thank you guys so much. I really
Pleasure.
appreciate your time.
Oh, no.